Good evening, and welcome to Westchester County's 2021 Black History Month celebration, Trailblazers, Preserving Our Legacy. My name's Ken Jenkins. I'm Westchester County Deputy County Executive. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's my honor to welcome you to the historic Jay Heritage Center in Rye. The Jay Estate was once home to one of our nation's greatest peacemakers, John Jay. It was from this home in Rye that John Jay once stood, envisioning a new and better life for the American people. Tonight, we are joined together to recognize three remarkable African-American citizens for their outstanding contributions to Westchester County. And for the first time ever, we're also introducing an Esprit Award in honor of all the African-American frontline workers in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And while we're not able to gather in person at the Jay Heritage Center as we normally would, it is more important now than ever that we recognize the prominent people and the roles that the African-American community members have played in our county's history. Tonight, let us honor them for their public service and their generous use of their talent, which together can ensure that the legacies of those who came before us are never forgotten. I want to open tonight's program by introducing Samara Joy McClendon, a student at SUNY Purchase, who will be singing the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever on the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
It is now my honor and privilege to introduce our county executive, George Latimer, for some welcome greetings.
Good evening. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm pleased to be with you here virtually to recognize our annual Trailblazers event sponsored by the African American Advisory Board in Westchester County. I want to thank Barbara Edwards and all of the members of the board for their outstanding work every year in recognizing African Americans all across Westchester County, and this event each year, which we usually have in person. Now we're facing almost a year into the pandemic. We hope that by a year from now, we will do it once again in person. But the setting at the J Heritage Center is an appropriate one where we speak of American history. African American history is, in fact, American history. And we recognize terrific individuals who've contributed to our county and to our society in this event every year. We have many people that we are most proud of here, and we're appreciative that Suzanne Clary and the people with the J Heritage Board makes this facility available to us for this celebration. And of course, my good friend, the Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, preserving the role as MC for tonight's affair, will give you the opportunity to see many of those outstanding people and recognize them. We have a number of individuals that we're honoring tonight, and I just want to make sure that we highlight that they represent a range of experiences and expertise, the health and human services area, leadership and civic engagement, and we're honoring our African American frontline workers with an Esprit de Corps award in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, the pandemic that keeps us at a distance tonight, but hopefully will be behind us a year from now when we celebrate in person. We're very much looking forward to tonight's events and of the individuals who will be recognized, and we're appreciative of all the work of the African American Advisory Board as we go through the year ahead. Fortunately, we have a beautiful tomorrow to look forward to, one that puts us together and gives us the opportunity to once again show our appreciation and respect to the contributions of African Americans across Westchester County. Thanks very much for letting me share those thoughts with you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer, for those encouraging words. It's now my pleasure to introduce Barbara Edwards, the chair of the Westchester County African Advisory Board, to share a few words.
I am delighted to greet you on behalf of the African American Advisory Board and to welcome you to our annual Trailblazers Award program in recognition of Black History Month. Tonight provides a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of African American citizens of Westchester County, highlighting yesterday's visionaries and today's leaders. The 2021 Trailblazers, who will be honored this year, inspire us by continuing the legacy of our ancestors. This event represents a special time for us, as we believe that it is very important to reflect on our history and to celebrate the significant contributions of our honorees, past and present. We're happy that all of you are attending to share this special time of reflection with us. The history of the African American is linked to the growth and richness of Westchester County. Our history reflects great triumphs, endurance, and resilience of the human spirit. Each year, Westchester residents of African descent are selected to be honored with the Trailblazers Award. All honorees are selected based on their having demonstrated outstanding involvement and significant contributions to changing lives and improving the quality of life in Westchester County. And so, we want all of the honorees to know we applaud their commitment, courage, and dedication. We thank you for helping to shape the story of the African American in Westchester County.
Thank you, Barbara. I now want to introduce Larry H. Brule, a civil rights scholar and public historian who is going to share a bit of the history of the African American Advisory Board in Westchester and the historical significance of the J Heritage Center.
The African American Advisory Board, a critical force for change in how we perceive the African Americans' presence and participation in the golden apple we call Westchester County. The Westchester County African American Heritage Trail, it was designed to make sure that people never forget the African American contributions in Westchester County over the past 400 years. You can see that presence from Katona and Yorktown all the way down to the Bronx line in Mount Vernon, all the way over to Long Island Sound in New Rochelle and Mamaroneck, all the way over to the Hudson. We've always been all over the county. We are greatly appreciative of the work of County Executive George Latimer and his passion for this project and his support for the important work of the African American Advisory Board. I think that the African American Heritage Trail must be a catalyst for those things to happen, to begin to create the social history of that site. My work has always been to unpeel the onion, let them see it, smell it, that Westchester County has always been a multiracial, multicultural community. How do you get the local sites to tell us exactly who Clorinda was? I know you may not know Clorinda, but she was on one of the sites as a slave. And her daughter Zilpha, she was a slave for John Jay for 3 generations. Who was Sam Nelson down at St. Paul's Church? And Rebecca Turner and Ben Turner. There's a marvelous story in Yorktown about all of those Black soldiers who were killed defending Colonel Greene during the Revolution. They all died. Wow. They refused to surrender. We've got our own glory story. Remember the movie Glory? We've got our own. They are patriots. We hear a lot of talk about patriots. We don't even know their names up there. That's the social history. All of these people, they had lives. They had dreams. They had aspirations. They had birthday parties. They had marriages and they gave away their daughters. How do we incorporate the social history into those sites and let their lives ring with joy again? It's out of your passion, it's out of your heart that the stories of these forgotten folks get told. These are new narratives, new pages in the history of Westchester County.
Thank you, Larry, for that outstanding sharing a bit of the history of African Americans here in Westchester. Now to share a few words, the chairman of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, the Honorable Ben Boykin.
Good evening. I'm Ben Boykin, chairman of the Westchester County Board of Legislators. I'm pleased to welcome everyone to the county's Black History Month Trailblazers Award ceremony. This year's ceremony is different, of course, as we gather virtually because of COVID-19. But our congratulations to our honorees is no less heartfelt, and our celebration of our shared history is as important. We celebrate our diversity to highlight that we're all bound together. Our national identity is made from the unique contributions of our diverse backgrounds. African American history is American history. Born out of the darkest chapter of our nation's story, African American culture that has shaped a great part of our national life, our food, our music, our language, our religion, our literature, our science, our humor, our identity. That's something to celebrate. We celebrate the outstanding contributions of this year's honorees who truly have the title of Trailblazers. Dr. Glenn A. Davis, Mount Vernon Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, Arnie Reynolds of the African American Men of Westchester, as well as the African American frontline healthcare workers whose dedication and sacrifice during the COVID pandemic has been nothing short of heroic. Congratulations and thank you to this year's honorees.
At this time, I would like to invite the president of the J Heritage Center, Suzanne Cleary, my friend, to say a few words. Suzanne.
Thank you, Ken, and congratulations to tonight's awardees. We've had the pleasure, actually, of working with Only Reynolds, who's one of the awardees, through the African American Advisory Board and the work of the African American History Commemoration Committee for the 400th commemoration of resilience in Westchester County. As people have mentioned, we are one of 14 sites on the African American Heritage Trail, but if it were our choice, we would have 400 or 4,000 or no limit of sites that represent the narratives of African American people in Westchester County. I also want to take the chance to thank our community partners, the American Women of African Heritage and the American Men of Westchester, who together with us and the Friends of the African Cemetery in Rye have pieced together the narratives of many people of the past. We say lift every voice and sing. Here we lift the voices of the past and those narratives and bring them into the future and share them with youth, because there can be no history without education. Our goal here is for you to remember this site not just for John Jay, but also the people that he and his family enslaved. And as Dr. Sproul mentioned, Mary, Clorinda, there are many others. We want people to think of this home as their home. It is the Caesar Valentine home and the home of his family. And we continue to research those stories here and at other sites in Westchester. The trail may only have 14 sites now, but again, we seek to grow. We want to recognize Green Book Trail sites in White Plains, Winya Avenue in New Rochelle. We look to the community and people watching this event tonight to help us continue that work. So thank you for giving us time tonight to be part of this special commemoration. We're making history now, and we will document it and preserve it for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne, for your continued leadership and advocacy for all the things that happen here at the Jay Heritage Site. Now it's time to move to the awards portion of our program. Let us begin by watching a short video about our first honoree, Dr. Glenn A. Davis, who's receiving the Dr. Valerie Alsina Award for Health and Human Services.
I'm Dr. Glenn Davis. I am the Deputy Medical Director here at the Greenberg Health Center. The mission is to provide excellence in healthcare to the underserved population of Westchester. We turn no one away. Initially, I planned to stay maybe 6 to 12 months or so, but as things turned out, here I am 30 years later. 78 graduate of Meharry Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee, which is one of the 4 or 5 predominantly Black medical schools in this nation. The school trained doctors to go to underserved communities, and to serve those communities, I would like to lead by example, number one. Number two, I would like to tell young students and younger people that the healthcare is an essential part for the success of our country. We have to get Afro-American students to apply. We could do better in this area in terms of applications to medical schools, pursuant to pre-med curriculum in college and high school. I am thrilled to receive the Dr. Valerie Alsina Award. I know Dr. Alsina personally, and he is an international physician of excellence. I would like to thank the Trailblazer organization and the Afro-American Advisory Board for this honor. I would like to thank the colleagues that I work with day in and day out here at our health centers. Last but not least, my family for being supportive in the work I do.
And now I want to introduce Dr. Davis, who's with us here tonight. This award says, in recognition of your contribution in health and human services to the people of Westchester County and New York State for the Black History Month celebration, the Trailblazer Award for Dr. Glenn A. Davis, today, February 25th, 2021, County Executive George Latimer, the Westchester County Board of Legislators, and the African American Advisory Board, Barbara L. Edwards, Chair. Congratulations, Dr. Davis.
Good evening. I would like to thank the Trailblazer organization, the Department of Health of Westchester County, White Plains Hospital, and my many mentors for this award. To the many aspiring healthcare providers in our country and county at this point, whether you're in elementary school, junior high school, or high school, remember that perseverance, dedication, and hard work makes all things possible. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my wife of 42 years, Elaine, and my 3 children, Yvonne, Yvette, and Glenn Allen, for being there for me. As I looked at many of the new journals from last year, 2020, and I began to see articles on burnout in the physician staff, I knew this was not a good time. However, this is 2021 and things are much better now. But during the last decade, we've had a severe deficiency in primary care physicians. The curve is rapidly declining. So I urge young physicians in training now to keep an open mind about primary care. We are about prevention. In closing, I would like to thank my staff at the Mount Vernon Health Center who work so hard and inspire me to come to work every day. On behalf of all the first-line workers, physicians, and nurses, I accept this award in your behalf. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Dr. Davis. Our next award is going to the mayor of Mount Vernon, Sean Patterson Howard, who's been awarded the Honorable Ronald A. Blackwood Award for Leadership. But first, let's take a look at this video about Mayor Patterson Howard.
When it comes to civic engagement and blazing trails, that's who I've been all my life. Whether it was starting to work in HIV/AIDS back in 1985, starting the drug treatment court here in the city of Mount Vernon in 1998, being the first woman CEO of the YMCA of Yonkers and the third African-American woman to hold that position nationwide, and then becoming the first elected woman mayor in the city of Mount Vernon.
I cried. Thank you. A warm reception outside Mount Vernon City Hall today for Sean Patterson Howard.
I, Sean Patterson Howard. I'm the first woman elected mayor of a major city in Westchester. It's very, very humbling. I'm a 5th generation Mount Vernonite, so I bring to Mount Vernon not only my family history and love for this community, but more importantly, 30 years of professional experience in human services and economic development. I've always been a very innovative leader and someone who's just determined to make a difference. We are one Westchester. If Mount Vernon is weak, it weakens the county. If Mount Vernon is stronger, then we have more resources to provide to a stronger region. I think generation next is now, and we have to be very intentional about how we are mentoring them, providing opportunities for them to be involved, and not just to be involved, but to lead. Let's get you mentorship, let's get you skilled up, and let's get you involved so that you can change the environment that you live in. How to ask questions, how not to just be angry, but how to use their anger, their frustration, and their passion to now plan and connect with other likewise young people so that they can make change and impact in their community.
So, the Honorable Ronald A. Blackwood Award is being presented to Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. Let's hear from her accepting this honorable award.
Hi, this is Sean Patterson Howard, Mayor of Mount Vernon. I would like to thank our County Executive, George Latimer, our Westchester County Board of Legislators, Chair Ben Boykin, and the entire Board of Legislators, and the Westchester African American Advisory Board for selecting me as one of the 2021 African American Trailblazers. I am so honored and humbled to receive this award. This is the Mayor Ronald A. Blackwood Award for Leadership. And he was absolutely a pioneer and a trailblazer and an incredible servant to the city of Mount Vernon. I pray that I will be able to live up to this incredible honor and distinction, as it is my desire and proud pleasure to do an incredible job for the city of Mount Vernon. I look forward to our continued work together. I also want to say congratulations to my fellow recipients, Dr. Glenn Davis, Only Reynolds, and Dr. Philip Oswa. Congratulations to everyone. Continue to do the incredible work that you're doing for the county and throughout the county. And again, I'm honored. Take care. God bless.
Our next award is going to Oney Reynolds, who's receiving the Whitney M. Young Jr. Award for Civic Engagement. Let's watch this video about Oney.
Just working in the Westchester County Parks Department as a supervisor level employee was a trailblazing event in itself. There was only one other black guy who was a supervisor out of the entire department. A couple years later, around 1990, I was in charge of booking all events at the county center and overseeing all events there, including the event staff. It was brought to my attention immediately. There are no black ticket takers, no black ushers, box office people. Any event that's going to bring a large black audience was not welcome. Even the Section 1 basketball games, high schools, all played in the afternoon. They didn't play at nighttime.
What a game.
Celebrity rap basketball game, which you can imagine how that must have went over in that building. But I had to really fight to get that approved.
TV rap, Westchester County Center.
And it did open the door, because after that people realized, oh, okay, if they let them do that, we can do this and we can do that. My experience with the African American men of Westchester has been extensive over the 25 years in regard to civic engagement. They held the Martin Luther King celebration at the county center, bringing about 3,000 people to the county center for an all-day event. I became chair of that within 2 years of joining the organization. That event is the flagship program not only for the African American men of Westchester, but for just about every other Martin Luther King event that's now held throughout Westchester County. Second area that I'm very proud of is a criminal justice program called From the Streets to the Courtroom. We had over 200 kids, and we walked them through literally how to avoid getting yourself in these situations. And I believe that's the program that we say actually save lives in. We've always had support from Westchester County. We have nothing but gratitude to county leadership. This Trailblazer Award is a reaffirmation of my own personal values to be recognized by a prestigious organization like this. And I want to thank my wife of 32 years, Mary, and I'm so proud of my 2 children, Sean and Diana, both college graduates. My #1 achievement. Thank you.
The Whitney M. Young Jr. Awards being presented to Oney Reynolds in recognition of your contribution in the area of civic engagement to the people of Westchester County and New York State. At the Black History Month celebration, the Trailblazer Award, February 25th, 2021, County Executive George Latimer, the Westchester County Board of Legislators, the Westchester County African American Advisory Board, Barbara L. Edwards, Esquire, the chair. Mr. Reynolds, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to thank the African American Advisory Board and its chair, Barbara Edwards, for selecting me to receive the Whitney M. Young Jr. Award for Civic Engagement. My congratulations to the other awardees, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, Dr. Philip Azua, and Dr. Glenn Davis. I am grateful for the presence of the Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, for taking time out from his busy schedule to appear in person. Special thanks to the county executive, George Latimer, and to the county board chairman, Ben Boykin. The African American Men of Westchester and the African American Advisory Board have a long history together. Past AAMW President David Cheek once served as co-chair of the advisory board with Barbara Edwards. Another AAMW president, Mel Burris, served on the advisory board. Several members of the African American Men of Westchester have been recognized as trailblazers by the African American Advisory Board. I'm happy to be part of that new group. I'm continuing our tradition of working together by serving on the African American History in Westchester Commemoration Committee, which is the subcommittee of the advisory board. I extend best wishes to the chair, Keisha Skipper, for a speedy recovery, and special thanks to our host, Sue Clary, for recruiting me to serve on this committee. I look forward to our work together. Again, thank you very much for this honor.
Congratulations, Oni. And now, it's time for a special recognition for all of our African American frontline workers. For the first time ever, we are presenting an Esprit de Corps Award in their honor. The past year has been incredibly challenging because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's tested all of our strength and our perseverance. We've watched many of our loved ones suffer, and we have not all been able to go through the times with this debilitating illness. We've seen a devastating impact on our communities. But our frontline workers have proven their commitment to the health and safety of our county residents, and they deserve our respect and support for the tremendous job they have done. Accepting the Esprit de Corps Award is Dr. Philip Azawa, the president and CEO of Montefiore Medicine. Let's take a look with the videotape.
Thank you, Deputy County Executive Jenkins, for the introduction. And I thank the Westchester County African American Advisory Board and Board Chair, Barbara Edwards. Thank you. Thank you also to County Executive George Latimer. Thank you for your support of healthcare. I wish to acknowledge my fellow honorees, Dr. Glenn Davis, Mr. Olney Reynolds, and my friend, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. On behalf of all frontline healthcare workers in Westchester County, I am honored to accept the Esprit de Corps Award. It was around this time last year when the coronavirus first announced its arrival in Westchester County. It hit us early and it hit us hard. Westchester County shut down and its healthcare workers stood up. They set aside their own personal safety, summoned courage, overcame fear of the unknown, and went above and beyond their duty to save thousands of lives at great risk to themselves and their families. Meanwhile, as the war raged on, it became clear that the virus had unmasked another problem. According to the CDC, COVID hospitalization rates for blacks are 5 times greater than that of non-Hispanic whites, while the death rate for blacks is twice that of whites. And for those with underlying diabetes and heart disease, hospitalizations are 6 times higher and deaths 12 times higher. Disease is a cruel teacher. The coronavirus is one of the cruelest I've ever encountered. But the lesson here is beyond valuable. What the pandemic has done is expose an underlying public health crisis, a chronic disaster, if you will, that has been afflicting and killing African Americans and minorities for decades. Poverty, unemployment, hunger, crowded and substandard public housing, violence, threats to public safety, limited access to healthy foods. These and other social determinants of health combine to leave our entire communities at increased risk for the chronic diseases that have left us particularly vulnerable to the lethality of COVID-19.
If we beat the virus, but do not address these inequities, we will have failed in our duty, not only as healthcare providers, but as public servants, community leaders, and good citizens. America changed its behavior in such profound and fundamental ways to mitigate this virus. And I dare to believe that we as a people have the capacity, the nobility to summon the same selfless courage and determination to establish equal justice for all and finally prove the true strength of our shared humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Azawa, for accepting the Esprit de Corps Award on behalf of all the frontline workers. We thank you for your continued leadership in the medical community, and we really appreciate the words that you said. This time, we're going to hear some closing remarks from the chair of the African American Advisory Board, Barbara Edwards.
Please join me in congratulating all of the 2021 honorees. Our honorees have set a standard of service that inspires us all. I would now like to convey my deepest gratitude to the members of the Trailblazers Planning Committee for their efforts in developing this wonderful event. I've had the privilege of working with a great group of dedicated members of the African American Advisory Board, and I wish to thank them for offering their time and expertise in fulfilling the goals and objectives of our board. May I point out that this event would not have been possible without the exemplary work and talent of the Westchester County staff. And I want to thank them for their support and assistance. I would also like to thank Suzanne Clary, President, and Kevin Perano, Executive Director of the J Heritage Center, for their gracious accommodations during our celebration of the 2021 Trailblazers. Again, I thank all of you for attending this special event, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Barbara. Tonight, we've also received proclamations for all of our honorees from the Westchester County Board of Legislators, which was signed by every member of the 17-member board. I want to thank you all for being part of our program tonight. We're so happy you could join us for the celebration of the contributions of African Americans in Westchester County. First, we want to say congratulations to all of our honorees once again, certainly Dr. Davis, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, One Reynolds, and receiving on behalf of all of our frontline workers, Dr. Philip Azawa. I want to thank Suzanne Cleary and certainly Kevin and all of our friends here at the J Heritage Center for hosting us once again for this wonderful ceremony. A special thanks goes out to everyone that made tonight's event possible, the people that worked behind the scenes. You don't get to see it, but our communications team is here in effect doing an outstanding job pulling it together with our people and our friends and our liaison for the African American Advisory Board, Paula Friedman, Catherine Chiaffi, certainly I'm looking and making sure I don't miss anyone, John Bosch, Lisa Reyes, Caroline Fortina, and our friends that make the magic happen behind the scenes on the camera. We want to make a special thank you for everyone that joined us here at home tonight for our Black History Month celebration. May we honor and remember those remarkable African American citizens for their professional accomplishments in our community efforts today and always. As the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we are not makers of history, we are made by history. Thank you all and have a wonderful night and continue to stay safe.